Good morning, everybody. Today is a special day with lots of pealing bells here at the monastery of Einsiedeln. It's close to Einsiedeln. This is a very nice view of this amazing complex. And here you just have a few pictures to introduce you. The monks are all up now getting ready for prayer. And today is a big feast day that culminates the path of, really, you could say, the whole story that began with Abraham. That's a big statement, isn't it? And it's about coming into the promised land. And I'm not saying that's Switzerland. It's really the heart of each person. And the path that whole plan took as it unfolded from the beginning, a very big word in the beginning. Isn't it amazing the human being take dominion of the earth, was able to get metals and create these beautiful bells. I hope you can hear them. And take materials and replicate what they found in the caves, a space that was sheltered from the rain. And each monk here has his own, as to say so, a little cave, a little cell, a little place to live beside brothers. And to enjoy creation. It's amazing how these people moved by grace identified these beautiful places. But when this started out, it was all forest. As much forest as you see on the hills, it was all forest, and it was considered a very dark forest. In Germany, we also have a similar name, just really up the road a few hours, the Black Forest. And this was all forest. And a hermit came here and lived here. Maybe there's even some concrete dates over here. I'm not sure if they give him that. And then he was martyred. This is all about the monastery itself, actually. So, but this was back in the 800s, 700s, 800s. And then after his death, his murder, and the following decades later, half a century later, monks started a cloister here in 934. 934. And it's been uninterrupted since then, although it's been destroyed 5 times, and the monks kept it going and rebuilt and rebuilt and rebuilt. And that's a little bit also an image of the history of humanity. Come, God says to Abraham, which is also the reading these normal days of the liturgy, and leave your land, and I will bring you to a land, and I will show you. And I will make you the father of great peoples. You won't be able to count them. An old man, decrepit, his life filled with material riches, but no children, really suffering that he doesn't have an heir. But Abram's going to discover that God wants much more to give him than to give him a piece of land. He wants to change his heart. He wants to build it into a relationship of trust, of incredible faith, of great fidelity. The human being is so capable of all of this, but also so incapable. We are so broken. And over the centuries, that people gets formed, and also almost millennia, and then a child is born. a child that also grows through great pain and suffering and effort, like every child does. Yesterday I met a young family down here just at night time, as the sun was setting or had set, and the last bells had pealed, the end of the prayer day for the monks. And the mother said, please pray for my little daughter. Her youngest daughter is Margarita, and she has diabetes. And she had her in her arms since, the trials of life. And that's a trial for the girl, but it's also for the parents, for her siblings, because she'll have certain needs and certain inabilities. But with great help and love, they will be overcome. Come into a new land, the land of your own heart, the land of your own truth and goodness. Not just a piece of external land, a piece of internal land. And nobody will be able to take it from you. They might try. Herod might try to stomp out Peter, just like he stomped out his father, his grandfather stomped out his master. I think that must have been Herod Agrippa, right? And that's in the reading today. We'll put on a link to that later on here. But Herod's plan is foiled by God's hand. Do not touch the boy. I've got big plans. And then we go to the second reading, and there we have another one who was persecuting Christians. In a certain sense, another mold of Herod, but for religious purpose, he was crucifying him. He wanted to kill the Christians, wipe them out. And now today we're also remembering both of them together, Peter and Paul, as they're totally transformed and totally joyful and totally firm and convinced. No hatred in their heart for their persecutors. Complete forgiveness. What an incredible transformation. They have come into their true land. Redeemed heart, redeemed soul, redeemed life. And that's the seed that was sown in Rome, the hills of Rome. And an Italian was touched by that much later. And he was born around 500 in Italy. His name was Benedict. And he started a whole movement. And this movement was extraordinary. He died around the year 568, so that's my age. I mean, his lifetime was over at my age today. And that's amazing, And what the Lord raised up through him in a time of great decadence. He fled the decadence. There was a lot of decadence in the student life in Rome. And he fled that to a little cave. And then he developed eventually the pattern that was already being lived of hermit lifestyle. And then companions joined him. And he started monasteries. And we actually have the first one here, the first big one here. Should come back here again. With the great principle, ora et labora, work and pray. Many people want it all free. And he learned the hard discipline of work and practiced it. And living the gospel counsels, the evangelical counsels. And this is the monastery of Monte Cassino. And that's where he died. And so these patterns of monastic life, and he had a very simple constitution for them, developed all over Europe. And here we have this one that's almost 1,100 years old and another 11 years. And it's not magic, people. It's not magic. It's a path of growth that has its ups and downs in history. We know also that the monasteries sometimes became very decadent and lax. But then they were reformed by new souls that were raised up by grace to fulfill the mission of renewing the church. The church is always being renewed. This community leading people into the promised land that God has created for their hearts, their minds, their souls. Not a piece of physical land, but a redeemed person. Because we're alienated, we're often away from ourselves, searching our joys in things that further alienate us. And here they leave everything and they follow a path of no private property, kein Privatbesitz. They live celibate for the kingdom of heaven. And in the Benedictine case, they live with a vow of stability of address, that they don't wander all over the place, which was actually part of the therapy for Europe that was going through tremendous wanderlust at that time and the fall of the Roman Empire and all the hordes of people coming in, huge streams of migrants, of misplaced peoples, of displaced peoples, all the conflicts of humanity that always have happened all over time. Sometimes just inside the kitchen complex, displaced. The broken home, the broken community, the broken town, the civil war, the broken country, the broken peoples, the falling empires. And here we have a memory of Benedict. As a good shepherd with the staff, in the pattern of Abraham, with his staff, of David with his staff, of Moses with his staff, leading the people. And it's not all perfect here. It's very human, very beautiful. You can check out the other videos I've done. I still have another interview one to post for you guys in the next day or two. This live stream now will turn off. Will change the rhythm that was planned, but that's okay. And this is what it's about. We're in the Holy Land, hopefully going back on Friday, God willing. It's our last day here in Einsiedlen. And so grateful and so happy to share it with you a little bit, and also to see the path of that first motion of Abraham being called, which becomes the call for us in our times. So let's leave it like that, and maybe I'll catch the sunrise with the Instagram right now. And greeting you from here in Einsiedlen, and looking forward. I'm not sure if we'll have a sunrise tomorrow morning because we have a very early flight at 6:30. But let's see what Providence provides. God bless you. See you later, alligators.